Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Two Gamer Dads podcast, episode 18. And for the very first time, we have a re-guest. Is that the best way to say it? Re-guest. We have a
Is it
recurring
the first
guest,
time? I
repeating
mean,
guest.
Ian and Chris came on for Wheel of Time, so
That doesn't count. They came out for a very specific purpose. This is different. We have Jamie because we like Jamie. Actually, I think it's funny because Jamie is the only chat group that we have. We always create WhatsApp chat groups for all our guests, and Jamie is the only group that actually has conversation even after
until now.
after the podcast is over.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody's other podcast is all dead. Nobody talks in the podcast.
But y'all
Yeah,
have other chat groups, with that person in it and y'all, that is active lah, right?
maybe that's true. So,
kind of true lah.
no, it sounded way nicer when I said it. So let's just keep
Oh,
it.
okay. Thank you.
You're a special friend. So let's keep it. Anyway, this is episode 18. As usual, if you know us, this is I'm Ian, and with me is Marv, and with us is Jamie. Hi Jamie, how are you doing?
Good. I'm very full. I just had dinner.
Nice. What do you have for dinner?
We went to a really nice steak restaurant, so yeah, super good. Had like scallops for entree and then steak and then like a chocolate
Walao.
thing dessert, like a full on like 3-course meal. It was good.
Sounds
Scallop
good. Sounds good.
steak. Wow, that already sounds good. Anyway, I just want to say if I get cut off right halfway mark, you just carry on.
Okay.
It's not my fault. It's not that I
Okay,
want.
why don't you start off with telling your story about why your internet is so bad?
Yeah. Wait, can I just ask first before I say anything? Jamie, did you move house?
No, I didn't. I redecorated, so it looks a little bit
Yeah.
different.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I remember last time the camera was facing the other direction. Like it was
Yeah,
facing
like we could see part
the left side of
kind
your room,
of.
and I could see Park on your left.
Still can, so I hook it on different screens. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't want us to see Park lah, basically.
Yeah, correct.
It's okay. The window is more entertaining. Yeah. Also, why is my dad so bad? Okay, so I recently moved into. Okay, Jamie. So I think you already know. I moved to Japan. A month ago. Yeah, and so I have been staying in a temporary place. It's actually like it's a temporary place. And then only a week ago, I kind of signed the contract, did everything, and moved into our place that will stay for the next 2 years at least.
Your
Okay, but this
new
place is kind of
three-room
owned.
flat.
Yeah, it's a 2-story 3-room flat.
Yeah.
The size of this house is the square meters is 77 square meters. So it's tiny.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, but it's funny because the layout of a Japanese house is very different. They have a crap ton. Like for example, I have a 77 square meter house, but in my master bedroom, I have a walk-in wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the video,
Yeah,
Jamie?
like
Of
No,
his
I
house tour?
I'll send
haven't.
it to you.
Go
I'll
go
send it to you
to
later.
if you want to see any of
Just
his videos, go to Go to Japan
go to Japan.
on IG.
It's on Insta. On
Okay.
yeah,
You
IG.
can follow their
Yeah, you can
adventure.
see later.
Okay.
But it's
Can.
actually quite interesting, like the way the Japanese houses are laid out. But anyway, to cut down story, one minute is bad. So this is basically owned by a developer called Daiwa House, which is like one of the big developers in Japan. It's kind of like Far East in Singapore. Like they are a very big property developer. So when I move in already, they already have internet for me, right? So it's already set up. But one thing I didn't realize is that they throttle the internet quite hard at night. So like in the day, I have like 400 megabytes per second download speed, and then once it turns like 5, it goes to like 2 megabytes per second.
Sounds like a hotel, right?
Yeah, it's so bad. Like I don't know whether it's just because everybody jumps on to use it, or whether the provider is actually throttling the download speeds to make sure that their server doesn't get overloaded.
Or maybe it's the plan that you're signed on.
So I didn't sign. So I just rented the house, but there's no
Yeah.
contract that tells you like it's not like there is a piecemeal, like this is the plan that your internet is. It's just there it is. And if I want to, they say if I want to change my plan, I need to like pay in Japan, right? Everything you need to pay admin fee, cancellation need to pay. You sign up for something, you must pay admin fee. You cancel something, you must pay for cancellation fee. It's worse than Singapore on many different levels, and it's very expensive to get internet in Japan, I would say, for the same comparable speeds in Singapore.
So if you wanted to swap your
Yeah.
ISP, what happens?
So to stop ISP, I need to contact Daiwa House to tell them I want to cancel. I need to pay Daiwa House. Then I need to go to a new ISP, whichever I choose, maybe NTT or SoftBank, one of the bigger companies. I need to pay them a startup fee to do everything. I think in total, just the initial transfer, and they need to come over and they need to. Singapore has this thing also, right, where they kind of like come over and set up your modem for the first time.
Yep.
But it's even more hardcore in Japan. Apparently, they need to like wire your house, like rewire your house.
They can't use the existing like wiring infrastructure.
That's the thing. I don't know. I apparently not. That's what I've been hearing. So like I'm starting to think that it might be more trouble than it's worth. And to top it all off, so obviously my master bedroom is on the second floor, which is where I am now. But I tried all the different LAN ports, and basically my master bedroom LAN port is the only one that doesn't work.
Oh
So
no.
all my other rooms have LAN ports directly to my router, but not this room. Not that it will make a difference,
So you're on
because
Wi-Fi,
even when
right?
I'm downstairs, yeah, even when I'm downstairs next to my router, I'm sitting next to my router, like 20 centimeters away. The internet speed is still slow, so I don't think it makes that much
Have
of a
you
difference.
have you tried connecting to the LAN port in our room and checking the speed?
Yes,
It's also bad.
yes, all this. Yes, it's also bad.
Yeah, okay, that means just
Yeah,
it's being throttled lah, for sure.
yeah. But
So
another
are you
alternative is actually
gonna
like use my mobile. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, are you gonna give up gaming? How you gonna play games like that?
All single player games. No more
Oh,
MMOs. No more internet. No, like, okay. To be fair, I think games is not that bad. Surprisingly, because games actually don't use that much data when you play them. Obviously, like because if you use too much, but so I think in terms of ping, as long as I'm playing on Japanese servers, it's fine. Yeah. So yeah, just need to play on Japanese servers. So like if I play FF14 again, it should be no problem.
But 3
okay.
Yeah.
Mbps down is nuts.
Yeah. Pretty bad. And on the weekends it's bad also. So on the weekends, I think they throttle the whole day.
Okay,
Yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah. But okay lah. Japan is interesting in other ways as well. There are good things and bad things as well, which we can talk about.
Yeah, I guess I mean if you want to, you can find out what's the total cost of getting a new ISP lah, then see whether it's worth it.
Yeah. I think it will probably cost, because right now I'm not paying anything for my internet except for rental, obviously, which kind of comes all bundled in. Even if I cancel my internet, my rental doesn't change. Like
Yep.
I don't get a discount,
Yeah, you need to pay
and then I have to
on
pay
top lah.
more on top of that. Yeah, so I mean, but it might be worth it. I'll think about it. Yeah,
Unless there's a service you can get that doesn't have to
yeah,
use wired connection.
yeah. Another solution is Japan has this pocket Wi-Fi thing. Does Australia have it as well?
Yes, yes. It's like they call it like dongles that you can just basically carry
Yeah,
around. Yeah.
yeah. So pocket Wi-Fi might be, but the thing is that they might throttle it as well, right? So then I'm just stuck with the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the plan would detail that. Like they will have like peak off-peak hours, then you can choose, whether you want that or whether you want like unlimited without any restrictions or that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might try that.
I guess you can look into that lah. See how it goes. Wow, if it happened to me, I tell you GG's, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually can't do anything at night. Like
Yeah.
even watching shows also cannot, right? Can you watch shows?
So actually, so like yesterday, right? So okay. So yesterday, Mary and I brought her out for dinner because I managed to get someone to babysit, not babysit, like just house sit Rebecca. So she basically just sits in the house, and because Rebecca's sleeping, right? So I brought her, and we went to a secondhand store. So in Japan, there's a ton of stores that are thrift stores, secondhand stores.
Yeah.
The most famous ones is called Second Street. There's more, there's this off brand. It's called Off House. Book Off is like secondhand books. It's just this off brand lah. The one I went to is called Hard Off, which it sounds so bad. Hard off, but I think what it means is hardware.
Okay.
Hardware off. But I mean, obviously, to a native English speaker, hard off sounds super weird. At least it's not hard
Weird.
on. At least it's not hard on. Yeah. So when we went there, like I saw a television that was like 2,000 yen, which is like $240, and it's a 40-inch TV. So it's pretty good. So I almost everything in my house is like bought secondhand. Because I think generally if it goes through these stores, not like Carousel in Singapore, it like gets vetted and tested. So when you buy it, they actually make sure it works, and it comes with warranty.
Okay, that's nice.
So yeah, so like the TV comes with 6 months warranty. I bought another, like, Japan has these hot plate things, right, where you can make your yakiniku and takoyaki. Yeah, so I bought that for like $35, and it's like they give you all the three plates. And I always go on Amazon to see how much it actually costs. Yeah, yeah, and
And then free
them
shop
is
a
like
bit.
30%. Yeah, so I was like, oh, 30%, like it's basically 30% of the cost, because it costs almost $100 on internet on Amazon. Yeah.
So far adjusting well to Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, maybe we can talk about this, I guess, in terms of like adjusting to a new. I think I've traveled quite often, like lived in different countries. I both as a single and as a married couple. Um, but it's just Japan is very interesting because it's a first world country, similar to Singapore, but yet they are, like, for example, when I moved to Zambia and I stayed there for 3 months, I expected it to be very different. So like when I go to Zambia and I see 1 megabyte per second, like I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you
okay, the fact,
expect that. Yeah.
yeah, like the fact that I've even got internet is like, wow, that's pretty good already. And then I don't expect air conditioning. I don't expect like hot water even. I just, because it's a third world country, I don't expect this kind of thing. When I come to Japan, it's a very modern country, but yet in so many different ways. In some ways, they are amazing. Like, it's very nice what they have. In some other ways, like, for example, this internet thing, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially like Japan, supposed to be like very tech savvy, right?
Yeah.
That was the first thought that came to my mind. Like, they're supposed to be all about technology. They always like, see things like it's supposed to be very
Yeah.
well connected, especially in the cities. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was surprising. Yeah.
I don't know whether maybe in Tokyo it's better, like in the bigger city. So I stay in Sendai, and I don't even stay in Sendai-shi. I don't even stay in like the middle of Sendai city. I stay in like I stay in a suburb called Ayashi. It's about 20 minutes drive like, from the city center. I basically stay in like the Jurong West of Sendai. Maybe not even Jurong West, Pulau Tekong of Sendai. Yeah, but it's not. Maybe I don't know whether it's better in the city, but I doubt it because there's more traffic, right?
Mhm.
It will be worse, not better. Yeah, and there's just a lot of like I don't think I've written. Now I'm very good at writing my katakana
Mhm.
alphabet in Japanese because I write my name so often that in every place I go to that I need to sign up for something. There's no like sign up online. Singapore is like, and I hope Australia as well. Like a lot of these things are like, if you're gonna sign up, just download this app or like scan this QR code. Just sign up online. In fact, a lot of companies and governments are going paperless, right? They don't want to deal with paper anymore. Like Japan is like ridiculously opposite. Everything has paper. Everything. Even
That's
when I go to the convenience and I buy something, there's a receipt. I don't want the receipt. It just automatically comes out of the machine. I don't want it. Then there's no trash for me to throw it in either. I just have to
Which
hold it in
is
my hand and
which is
find
why
something.
they had such a hard time when COVID hit, right? Because everyone transited
Uh,
to work from home and stuff.
digital. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they couldn't like keep up. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know whether like maybe this is already better, like in Japan. Maybe it was worse before I came, like before Corona.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
it was really worse. Yeah. Yeah.
very
So like,
surprising.
yeah.
That's really very
Mm,
surprising.
Yep.
Yeah.
mm. So like if you live in like coming to Japan, you don't really think about it as a tourist because you don't. That's one thing I realized when I move is that there are a lot of things that I took for granted that what I already have, but when you move here, you realize that you have to like redo a heck of a lot of things again.
Yep.
Yeah,
We are spoiled lah. We are spoiled as Singaporeans.
yes, I think that's
We're
true though. I think that's true.
100%
Singaporeans are
spoiled.
very
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's one of my pet peeves in general. Every time I go back to Singapore, I'm always like reminded again of how spoiled Singaporeans are. And then it's like everywhere I go, there's like triggered, like, oh, MRT 1 minute late, then after it
Oh,
appears all over
yeah.
the newspapers. I'm like, oh my fucking god, 1 minute. Are you okay?
But in Japan, it's different. Japan, 1 second late, then you have
Yes,
to
yes, yes,
apologize already.
yes. Yeah.
No, but in Japan, the explanation is usually like quite like understand. Like the thing is that the culture is quite understanding. I don't know whether maybe they go home and rage, but generally, like when an accident happens, they're all quite understanding.
Mhm.
Generally, they don't seem as entitled as Singaporeans.
Yes, entitled is the word. Yes.
Yeah. Just okay. So let me talk about something. I don't know whether Australia does the same thing because obviously Marv and I know very clearly how Singapore works in terms of, but like trash in Japan,
Oh
right?
yeah, it's so
So
different over
the
there,
way
right?
trash collection works in Japan makes me very acutely aware of how much trash I accumulate. Because in Singapore, it don't matter. Everything goes into the trash,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Except maybe even if you want to recycle, like it's just another bag. So basically, at most in Singapore, you have two bags.
Yep.
You have trash and you have recycling. That's provided you recycle, which I highly doubt.
Most people
80%
do.
of I don't.
So I
Yeah,
do.
I think most
I
people
make sure to separate my recyclables. But
do.
the thing that pisses me off is, Singapore has like the huge blue bins, right?
Yes, yes, they
Oh
just
my
put inside.
god.
Nobody
annoying.
bothers
Yeah.
to follow. Like when I put my recyclable stuff inside, right? Then I see like people just throw like food packets and all that inside. Then I'm
Yeah,
like, Singaporeans are really
yeah. Yeah, they don't wash it. They don't
yeah.
clean it.
Yeah.
They
Like
don't.
I wash
So
my cans, I wash my bottles before I put it in.
yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, why am I even bothering to do it when, people are not following the rules? Yeah.
How does, before I talk about Japan, how does trash collection work in Australia?
In Australia, yeah.
Similar in terms of like Singapore, in the sense where it exists, but it's really entirely up to you to do it. Most people
Mm.
do, because in the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years, people have just becoming more and more aware of like climate change, all this kind of thing. So I think the movement, to
Mm.
save the earth, has sort of
Mm.
taken off quite a bit. So most of us do it.
Mm.
Um, I stay in a condo apartment. So for us, we
Mm.
have a few levels, where the car park levels are at. We will have recycling rooms, and that's where, you just dispose of your recycling. It's up to you to separate it.
Mm.
Make sure it's clean and all of that. And most people do it quite well. Like you won't have like, food scraps or, food plastic that is in the bin that it shouldn't be. Yeah. So most of it is quite good. I also work for Frasers, which is a Singapore company. But the
Mhm.
project I'm working on and working at is the world's most sustainable project. So for us, right, from a workplace point
Wow.
of view, it's actually a very, very big thing for us. And I think it has transformed the way I think as
Mm.
well. So like at work, right, like because I work, basically my office is in the shopping center, which is the world's most sustainable shopping center. So everything from like the construction of the actual structure itself is all recycled, this and that. But on I guess practical level, right, like our bins, right, has like 7 separation holes.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they separate just like plastics, metals, even down to like compostable stuff or otherwise general trash,
Yep.
general rubbish. So it's like
Yep.
I've never seen a rubbish bin that looks like that, like, basically. Yeah.
Do
Yep.
people
That,
do people respect the
They
separation?
do. Yeah, they do. And I get a lot of people from the public. They don't live in the area, they're not here to look for anything specific,
mm.
property related, but they have a keen interest in this aspect. So they say, "Oh, I've read independent articles about sustainability and how you guys are a pioneer of this side of things." We get
Mm.
a lot of students who are aspiring either environmental studies or architecture studies that come to my workplace, wanting to understand a little bit more as well. So I think the that sort of side of things is taking off like quite a lot in Australia. It's quite a big thing for us.
Wow.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. That's
So
very
so
different from
that sounds,
Singapore lah, for sure.
yeah.
Very
That,
Singapore is
that,
driven by monetary gains, like
yeah.
incentivize me. Why should I recycle? Because I'm getting like 10 cents back per can or something like that.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
It
right?
has to always be like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, or no, the Singapore mentality is that I pay conservancy charge to my HDB. So
Yeah. Why do I
why
need
am
to
I
wait, right?
why am I sorting my trash? You should do it for me, which is a ridiculous concept. But that's the general entitlement that I would say most Singaporeans might feel.
Yep.
But I might be wrong. Maybe I'm being too harsh on my fellow Singaporeans.
No, I think
I
you're
would
right.
say But I would say Japan is very similar. Like, okay, so Japan, how it works, right, is that garbage, because in Singapore, garbage collection happens almost daily, right? If you
Mm.
stay in a HDB, you throw it down the chute, right? And then it's just throw and ignore. It doesn't affect your house at all. And you stay in a private estate, you just bring it down, you just put it outside your house, right? And then the garbage truck will they long come and pick
Yep.
up your trash and then it will leave. In Japan, it doesn't work that way. If you stay in a house, firstly, there are different days where the garbage truck will come.
Yep.
And each day and different days will collect different things. So Japan
Mm.
generally collects things in general. If you want to be the most broad, into three main categories. Three. One is your normal gomi, which is like your basically burnable trash. These are the things that you can't touch. You have to burn it. So food goes into this category. Anything that's sticky, like your tapes, like when you peel off your wrapper of certain things that's sticky, you throw that in. Then your next one is called pura, which is plastic, right? So anything plastic, let's say you buy HDMI cable, right, which I did today, and then it comes in a plastic bag, right? Then that plastic needs to be thrown into pura bag. And then the last one that's most general is paper, and this comes with like kami generally includes like cardboard. But then within these categories, there are very specific things that you also have to like be aware of what you can or cannot recycle. So for example, you would think that receipts, the receipts you get, right, are paper, right? You would think that you can recycle paper, but you can't, because this paper is made out of some kind of waterproof special, like it's a special kind of paper that your receipts are made. It's not made of general paper. So you have
Oh.
to
Mm.
throw it in a burnable trash. You
So it
can't
can't be broken
recycle
down
it as
to
paper.
be remade.
Exactly. So, and also cardboard, not every cardboard is made equal. So if it's corrugated, like you see like the diagonal lines
Yep.
across in a cross section, that can't be. That has to be
Wow.
this like done separately. So actually, when you first come to Japan, right, they actually give you this book called Living in Sendai, and in this book, it's like I don't know, 100 pages thick, maybe not 100, maybe 50 to 60 pages thick. And in each, there's a whole section on trash to tell you what you can or cannot throw. In fact, there's also an app that you can download. You key in your postal code. It'll tell you what you can and cannot throw. It'll also tell you when and what days you can throw, when the Pura truck will come, when the Gomi truck will come, when the Kami truck will come. And then when you go to every supermarket, there's huge supermarkets in Japan. In front of each supermarket, there'll be something like what Jamie mentioned, that 7 hole bin, and they even have more separation. So Japan likes to do, those food trays that's with a transparent plastic cover on top that you buy your sushi from usually.
Yep.
From supermarket, there's
Yep.
this like, so you not only have to separate, like there's one bin for the transparent food tray cover. There's
And one
one
for the
food bin
base.
for the yes, for the base. There's
My
one
goodness.
specifically for the egg carton plastic. That's only for egg carton. There's one specifically for cartons. So when you dismantle cartons here, you have to wash them, cut them so that it lays flat.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't throw them. You can't throw them in its like 3D form.
That's a lot
You
of
have
work,
to
man.
cut it.
As in like a tray of eggs, like a dozen eggs, it comes in plastic.
No. So in here, all the eggs come in plastic. They don't come in the cardboard that a lot of
That's so
a lot of
interesting. Yeah,
yeah. So you can
I haven't
dismantle
seen
them.
like plastic ones in a very, very long time already.
Actually, Singapore is quite a lot. Most eggs in Singapore, I would say, still come
Come
in
in
plastic.
plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Singapore is not environmentally friendly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like imagine so you can go down to that level in Japan too.
So if you
So
miss
like
a day, like for example, plastics collection is coming,
yeah.
and you miss, you forget,
So
Generate less trash.
you need to wait.
generally, right? Yeah, okay. So generally, it's not so bad because it's bad for me this week because we bought a lot of things when we move in, right? So
Yep.
we had 5 big bags of pura, and each bag, right, is 45 liters. So
Wow.
you can imagine how big the trash is for our plastic that we generated. But there another way to get rid of your stuff, especially for like cardboard, because there's so much cardboard. Right? You buy things, it comes
You
in the
bring it down
cardboard.
on your own.
Then you buy small things, it comes in cardboard. Yes, you drive it to the supermarket, and there's this big collection bins, and you put them in each individual bin.
Okay.
So that's another
Makes
way to do
sense.
it. Yeah. But
That's
I
a
mean,
lot of
it's
work.
kind of yes. So like sorting trash in Japan is like work.
Like a
Yeah.
pastime.
So I have 3 bins. I would say most houses have at least 3 bins in the house. Like
Wow.
Over
three
here, it's
main
about
bins
the
for each
same
person.
as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different because I live in a condo, but those that live in landed houses, right, they'll have 3 bins
yeah,
as well, like general trash,
okay,
recyclables. So it's very, very
yeah,
broad, like recyclables. And then after that, the other one is a green bin. So for like your garden,
yeah,
basically compostable green
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
lah, from your garden that goes in there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just an Asian thing.
Yep.
Like as in, okay, Japan aside, maybe it's just like generally in Southeast Asia, everybody just throws their trash in one box. Well, maybe in Western countries, people are more.
Awareness, I would say. Lack of
Yeah,
awareness. It's just not a
yeah,
priority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, maybe I mean we've spent like the last 10 minutes talking about trash,
Trash.
but we can
You're talking
keep
about
we
lost
can
art
keep
now,
to
is it?
this. Let's see if we can keep to this theme of not trash but like culture. And I wanted to ask you guys like to compare. How hard was it to settle in? I know Jamie, it's been a long time since you moved, right? But
When
It's
was it
very
again?
let's talk about
different.
culture. Let's talk about culture. Yeah. Okay. One of you
Culture.
can go first. Like for Jamie, for you is, I think you have
Uh,
to like adapt to a more westernized culture. Am I right? More Angmo culture.
Correct. More
Yeah.
Angmo culture, but the thing is, I'm quite, I guess, Angmo in my upbringing, so it wasn't a huge shift, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think the slight shock factor came because of my age. Like when I came here, I was 18.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's that, versus coming here, say in your 30s, right? The
Mm-hmm.
experience would be entirely different. Um, I think prior to moving over here, I had only been to Melbourne on a holiday. Is it once or twice? Yeah, in my younger, years as a child. So coming over here, I don't know, it was very numb. I think that's the best way to explain it. It was very numb. Because it
Mm,
wasn't a conscious decision made on my part. Obviously parents made that decision for me to come here. So I didn't partake in the decision making process. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very numb lah, and you just did what you had to do. It wasn't a huge change, to be honest. A lot of things, even back then, um
mm.
anything that you could find in Singapore, you could almost find it in Melbourne. So it surprised me in that aspect. Yeah, that it was quite close to home. Yeah.
What do you think was the hardest part regarding like the culture difference?
Hardest part, I don't know, I think just getting around places lor. Understanding, the different transport
Mm-hmm.
means, the price disparity of certain things. Going from, like, I mean, back then, like, like MRTs were like $1, I don't know, a few cents. I can't remember how much it was at back
A
then.
long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. To and then, student prices also, each time you go to bus is like 60 cents, right? Yeah,
Yep.
and then to having to pay for, a tram ticket here that was like $3. It was like a huge factor. Yeah, or like the price of tissue box. How much is it in Singapore? You buy like a bulk pack, right, from
Yeah,
like
buy like
NTUC or something,
4
and then it
boxes
has
at
like
one go.
4 boxes in one
Yeah.
go. How much is it?
I don't know, a few dollars.
Yeah, it's a few
Yeah.
dollars, right?
Yep.
Whatever you can buy, right? That's the cost of one box here. So I remember being extra, extra stingy about like tissues,
Mm.
because tissue was like very expensive to me. Yeah.
Why is there such a difference in pricing
I
for
don't
like
know leh.
so
Till today, I
basic
have
items?
no idea. Till today,
Okay.
I have no idea. Yeah, but it's expensive, tissue box. Like one box is like two something.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you, since I mean for you it's different compared to Ian, right? Because Ian just moved over. For you, you've been
Mm.
living there for like what, 10 over years? Around it?
15 already, I think.
Yeah.
15.
So
Wow.
so
Yeah.
I will ask you a different question. What is the difference, the biggest difference when you come back to Singapore that you feel?
She get irritated at Singaporeans. That's what she say.
Yeah, I'm very triggered. Okay, wait. But I'm triggered, right? Because I think mindset in general. Like, I just realized that I used to be a very uptight kind of person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to do with the pace of life and the way of life. There I become more chilled lah.
Mm.
I remember maybe around my 7th or 8th year mark of living in Australia, my mom said that I was becoming too laid back. I was becoming like the Aussies. I was becoming lazy. She like phrased it in a very negative kind of way.
5 p.m.
But
all shop
now,
close.
yeah. But now that I'm older and wiser and a little bit more in control of myself, it's not a bad thing. It's
Yeah, it's
really
not a
not a
bad
bad
thing.
thing.
It's definitely not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Singapore's
Yeah. It's
pace of
just,
living is just
yeah,
sometimes it's
stress,
just too fast.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
But it's fast, but I don't know, like fast. Yeah, just don't take things to the extreme, lah, basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you just learn to chill. I think it just translates into like, how much more relaxed I am. You try to let less things get to you, you care about the things that really matter. Whereas I feel like, Singaporeans sometimes, hold on to the littlest things that have no consequence to their life, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, just small things. Yeah.
I think that's a very
The-
common like feedback that I get for people who Singaporeans who choose to move to Australia is that the pace of life is a lot, I won't say better, more manageable.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean
Mm.
Shirley and I have a couple that they decided to move to Australia because they didn't want their son to grow up in the Singapore education system also lah. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you,
Yeah.
Ian?
In terms of
Like,
what's the
okay, I know you've been there for a month only, but
Yeah.
what's the biggest
Yeah.
culture shock you had so far?
I
Or
think
even
the thing is
like
that
you and Marian.
I was preparing myself for so much. Like we really prepared ourselves so much. We went for so much training, culture shock, like in terms of like culture acclimatization, and
Mhm.
that I'm not honestly that shocked. But I think most people who get shocked is because you need to. There is a little bit. I don't want to say racism, because it's not that extreme.
Mhm.
But like if you don't speak Japanese in Japan, you are
Also,
severely handicapped.
yeah, I get what you mean.
You are, but I would say in Japan, Jamie wasn't here the last episode, but in Japan they have a very different. Okay, in Singapore they classify people according to their residential status. So what I mean by that is that if you're a Singaporean citizen, you get like the highest level of perks, right? You get all the perks. Then if you're PR, you're the next level, right? And then depending on what kind of work permit you have, because there's S pass and all these different
Yep.
special passes that you have, your the amount of stuff that the government gives you reduces. But in Japan, I don't know if Australia works the same way. In Japan, it doesn't matter. Like as long as you stay here as a resident, you everybody is equal. You get the same amount of perks. Healthcare, you get the same. Um, I was telling Marv last week that basically, like Rebecca, she doesn't only just get free healthcare in Japan, like totally free, not just like a little bit free, like it's almost basically 100% free. She also gets like money from the government every
Yeah, this is
three
really
months or
cool.
so. Yeah, she gets like $150, which I mean, if you think it's not a lot, but it's free money, right? She gets $150 like every 3 months or so, kind of like as like a subsidy for, yeah, which to me is like it would never happen in Singapore because Singapore government would never give money to a
Yeah. I mean,
non-Singaporean.
if they do that, Singaporeans will copy.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah, so
I will
yeah.
copy. I'll be like, my tax
yeah.
money going to foreigners.
Yeah. But I guess the yeah. So in terms of culture shock, I don't think I'm shocked as of yet. But maybe when I encounter more, like I start interacting more with Japanese people, because maybe now it's still like tourist level,
Yep.
Like even though I've been here for a month, it's still very surface level in terms of my interactions with Japanese people. I think the culture shock will come in more when I start actually building relationships, and then when I ask for something, or there's a certain level of like expectations in terms of how our relationships work. I think among Singaporeans it's very easy because there's a common understanding. Even among Westerners, because I think Singaporeans are generally quite Western already.
Yep.
So some of the cultural values they share. Um, yeah, like for example in Japan, I don't know whether they definitely don't do this in Singapore, but like when I moved in, you actually have to give omiyage, like souvenirs, to all your neighbors.
All your
Like
neighbors.
I think if you
Seriously.
yeah, so like, at least to the people who surround you
Immediate
lah.
neighbors lah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you could get away if you don't do it, but you probably won't be on very good terms with any of them. And
I
there
think
is,
that's nice.
yeah, but it's not just gift. It's a very specific kind of gift. Like you cannot give, so there's a price range that you
Cannot
have
buy
to live
keychain.
in. You cannot buy too cheap and you cannot buy too expensive. Because if you buy too expensive, they feel obligated to return something to you.
Yeah. So
So
you
it's
got
between
something
the
for your
500 to
neighbors?
1,000. Yeah. So it's between the 500 to 1,000. So the idea is you bring the gift, you
Okay.
ring their doorbell, you say, hi, hajimemashite, watashi whatever, I'm Chu family from Singapore.
Yeah.
We just moved into this place. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And then that's
Okay.
it. Then you just give the present. If you're good in Japanese, you can continue speaking, but generally that's the basic, introduction that you do. And then you give them the omiyage, the souvenir. And these omiyages, by the way, are available in all supermarkets. Like it's literally like packed and presented already. So, and this omiyage is important for not just when you come into when you move into a new place. If you go to a friend's house for dinner, you must bring omiyage. So all these presents that you see at not just at supermarkets. When you go to Tokyo Station, you see like tons of these like bakeries or whatever shops selling all these like pre-packed like presents. Have you seen this before? Like they pack all these like snacks or whatever already. That you buy it for like $2,500 or 2,500 yen. And I always want, so Singaporean, you're like, I want to get the best value for my buck. I don't want all these nice packaging. I always think that, because I don't know, Singaporeans, you see this packaging, why am I paying so much for packaging? You try to cheat my money, right? So, but these things are actually essential to like Japanese people will buy it as they leave the station because they're going somewhere where they need to use it to as a gift
Yeah.
to enter someone's house.
I
Oh
mean,
my god, so
Yeah.
useful.
even when we are there on holiday, then we buy stuff back, like for our
Yeah.
friends or relatives.
Yeah.
The way that it's packaged, it's just incredible. It's so
Mm.
like the way that they present the whatever you want to buy, even if you're buying snacks, right?
Yeah.
There's like more packaging than
Yeah.
snacks. You're like
Yeah.
literally paying for a really nice box. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't basically just go to the supermarket and buy like things off the shelf. And like even though in my practical Singaporean mind, it's way better because like the
Yes,
snacks
of
are
course.
cheaper. The quality the if it's maybe that you might get more quantity, the quality is a bit
Yeah.
better. But you can't buy that. You have to buy the omiyage.
So there's a whole like
That's it.
economy or business surrounding omiyage,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. This it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's one of the things that you kind of for me, it wasn't so bad because I have Japanese people here that teach
To
me
guide
what to
you, right?
do.
Yeah.
Like they say like do this, do that. Yeah. Okay. So another thing that happened recently, I don't know whether I want to ask you this. Have you ever had a car accident before in
Yes.
Australia?
Yes.
Okay. So walk me through how car accidents work in. I mean, not how car accidents work, but how the process after the car accident. How does it work in Australia?
I said the ideal situation, right? Like a good accident, right?
Mm, mm.
So it
No one
happens, and
dies. Just
then
just just car damage.
yeah, car damage and no accident. Not nice one is because I kena before that. The guy just hit me and ran away. So that was a hit and run. So that was a bad
Oh,
example.
oh,
Yeah. So that one had to involve the police, all the kind. Okay. But anyway, a good accident is like we hit each other. Doesn't matter who's at fault. Basically, both sort of slowly pull up to the left of the shoulder of the
yeah,
road, get off. Your talk to each other, maybe a bit angry, but then ultimately you just exchange your details, ask to see each other's driver's licenses, and then that's it. Yeah, and then you just
okay,
decide whether if your car is insured. So it's not compulsory to get insurance over here.
Mm.
yeah,
So if you're insured, you just pass on the information that you already collected from the other driver onto your insurance
yeah.
company. They follow up for you. That's it. End of story.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
So there isn't any, just generally no interaction between the two parties after the first interaction of exchanging, right?
Unless you're not insured, and then you have to deal with
Yeah,
it yourself. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So that's quite similar to Japan, but there are few distinct differences. But Singapore, it's a bit different because Singapore, I always feel like people just want to decide whose fault it is.
Yep.
Because
Yes,
generally,
but it's not
because
your
generally,
position.
because whoever claims the fault or whoever you can push the fault to, then they pay for it,
Yes. Like the
or
insurance
their
company will help you
insurance
to
pays for
claim
it.
from their insurance company.
Yeah, it's like I always my mindset is that the insurance company is that you always want to establish that it's not your fault because then you don't need to pay. Because the thing about insurance is that if it's your fault, right? I don't know how it works in Singapore because I don't own a car in Singapore, but does it like I don't know if like let's say if it's your fault, does your insurance company like not want to pay for you?
No, you pay, but then the premium goes up lah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
premium
okay.
goes
On
up.
the
I think they're
next
happy.
on the
They're happy with it also. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I say this because recently in Japan we got into a minor accident. It's
Oh.
no one's fault, but just going through like this very narrow road, there's a small scratch along. We had a small scratch with another couple. So in Japan, basically, regardless of any incident, so this scratch right is so tiny. I can send you a picture later. It's just literally just like a line, a small black line across the car. Like when I took a photo of it and I sent it to my teammates, they said, "Where's the scratch?" I said, "It's there." I had to zoom in to point it at them, point it for them. But the immediate thing that anybody does in Japan is to call the police.
Oh, wow.
So the keisatsu, no matter how bad the accident is, or no matter how minor the incident is, the keisatsu will come, the police will come, and they will like obviously do the same thing, like take driver's license, whatever, and then they will
Mhm.
get your insurance. They basically get the whole story. They try to get a most neutral
Like listen to both sides
story.
lah, kind of thing.
Yeah. So literally two policemen will come. Right. They will separate the two of you. One policeman listen to your story. One policeman listen to
Oh,
the other
wow.
story. Yeah.
Okay.
So like that's literally how it worked for us. And then after that, they were like, okay, then after that, the same thing happens as in Australia. If you both have insurance, which actually in Japan, it is almost compulsory to have insurance. So when you buy a car, it's like if you don't have insurance, people say that you're crazy in Japan. Like you have to have insurance. Because anyway, the insurance is not that expensive and it kind of is like built into the when you buy the car anyway already. Because Japan has something called the shaken system. So in Singapore you have COE system, right?
Yep.
In Australia, do you have a system for cars?
Nope.
No, just buy car, that's all. But pay
Yep.
the import tax if you need to, and that's it. So in Japan,
Yes.
COE lasts 10 years in Singapore, right? Then after that, the car
Yes,
gets
correct.
scrapped.
Then you
Scrap
either
means
renew or
sell
you
to other
scrap it lah.
countries.
Yes.
Yeah. So in Japan, the shaken is this car inspection that you have to do for every car, and it only lasts 2 years, right?
Okay.
And the shaken is expensive. The shaken can be like $700 to $1,000, and you have to do it every 2 years. Yeah.
Or is it
So
just like a general registration, basically like
no,
rights to drive the car?
no, the shaken is like legit. You have to send it to a mechanic. The mechanic apparently it goes down to they basically dismantle the whole car and make sure that
Oh,
everything is like
Wow.
correct, like it's up to speed. So it's a safety inspection. So according to the Japanese government, they want to make sure that every car on the road has to go through shaken, and the shaken has to be done by an authorized mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah. So they make sure that every car is
cool,
done. Yeah.
cool,
So
cool,
I think
cool.
it's quite good safe. But okay, the good news about this story is that because of the incident, we are not insured. Correct, because we just moved in.
Yep.
We're using someone else's car. This is not
Yep.
our car. But thankfully, this couple, they like just went to the car shop and polished it off, and then they said it's okay. No need to do anything really.
Didn't like have
Oh,
to
so
pay
sweet.
any money or
Yeah,
what.
they didn't ask for anything. So we're obviously going to send them a very big omiyage.
But you got the address and stuff lah.
Yes, but the funny thing is that they don't even stay in Sendai. They stay in Fukushima,
Oh.
which is like a whole prefecture away.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll take a while, but it's okay. Like delivery is quite easy in Japan. Yeah, but even like this, like so there are small things that you don't really realize you need because, for example, in Singapore, I don't drive. No, very few people drive in Singapore, so I need to learn. I need to kind of you asking like what are some things I need to learn. These are things that I need to relearn and understand that there is a cultural
Yes.
like requirement of
Ev-
how you interact with them.
It's not even a cultural
Yeah.
difference. It's just totally different practices.
Yeah.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
were saying like I mean in the end this couple is very nice. Like this family that it was very nice. They had a young kid also who's almost the same age as Rebecca. So like even though they were at the side of the road, we were like playing with the kid and the kid was playing with our kid. So it's very, very nice. But I've also heard of stories where Japanese people will be very polite, very nice, like when stuff happens.
Then they
But
backstab
then
you.
the next day they won't backstab you, but they I guess in a sense that you can say backstab. But like I've heard that my team leaders have told me before that the next day you'll see a bill.
Hmm.
Yeah, like everything is very nice. They will seem super friendly. Like nothing is like when you see this kind of thing, it's like in Singapore you just assume that like okay, all is forgotten. like everything's forgiven, then you just leave as it is, right? But Japan, that's not how it works. Like they might be very polite, like at the start, in throughout the whole transaction, and then after that, you might receive a bill at the end of the day. Yeah. So these are the kind of things that I have to navigate a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely not easy, lah, especially for you, because I think, I say I don't want to generalize, but I would think that
Yeah.
Singaporeans going over to Australia, where it's more chill, would you say it's more chill, Jamie? Yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
As compared
Mm-hmm.
to Singaporeans like
Shit.
Ian going over to Japan, where everything
Yep.
is like a different level of
Less.
uptightness and like rules
Yes.
and not even rules, like what do you
Yes.
call that, etiquette? Yeah, it's just
Mm,
it's much harder,
Like
I think.
language as well.
Yes,
Language.
I think the
mm,
language would be one of the bigger barriers, lah. How are
Mm.
you
yeah.
adapting though, Ian?
Yeah. So I'm also going to start language school, but I already speak. I would say I speak basic Japanese. Like I can go to a shop. I can generate. So at first it's very funny because when you go to now we take these things for granted, right? But when you go to a shop and then you buy your things, the cashier will always be talking to you, right? They'll be saying, "Oh, do you want a bag with that? How are you gonna pay? Right? You're gonna pay a credit card. Do you want to use your points? Like there are all these little things that you use in your daily conversations that you don't realize because there's no language barrier.
Yep.
But the moment you enter a new place, she says something to you, and you're like,
Huh?
wait a second. What did she say? Did she ask me for a bag? Did she ask me how I'm paying? Did she ask me, there's all these questions. And Mary and I just sometimes look at each other, then we'll look at them and go, yeah. Like, no. And then sometimes they look at me like they look at me very confused. Like, cause maybe they asked like, how are you gonna pay? And I said, no.
No, you're not gonna
Something
pay.
like that. I don't know. Like so then I have to like ask them to like repeat the question.
Just point
So
yourself
at the
and say
start,
gaijin. Gaijin desu.
yeah, so sometimes I mean depends on the level of how much I need to talk to them. So if I'm buying something from the supermarket, nowadays I can understand what they're trying to say. They generally there's a sequence, they ask you, are you gonna use your points? Do you have a point card? How are you gonna pay? And do you need a bag? Right. So
Mm.
this is the order that I've come to know. And then I really eliminate one because when I go to Japan, when I go to the supermarket now, I bring my own basket. So I put the basket in front of them. They immediately like eliminate one question already. Yeah. So but then if like for example I'm going to the post office and I want to return a product, which is what I did like 2 days ago, there's a lot of questions that needs to be asked, right? How am I going to pay? So I will usually start off with like saying that I'm not Japanese and I can't speak Japanese that well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then that immediately creates this like understanding on their
Yeah.
part that
Like
we can try to find.
they might be a bit
Yeah.
more patient. You
Yeah.
think so?
So if they're good, if they're good in English,
Then they'll use
they might
English.
try. They
Okay.
might try to use it, and then we can kind of find a middle ground. Maybe you speak a bit of English. I try to speak my
Like
Japanese in whatever broken way we can, and then we try to find
it's a
some middle
yeah lah,
ground.
basically.
Yeah, kind of. But I think at the start it was a bit more scary. Now it is a bit more like I'm not so intimidated when I go to a show. Sometimes Marion is still a bit more because I learn faster audio. I'm an audio person.
Yep.
So like I pick up words very quickly when I listen to them. So sometimes Marion will still like panic a bit and ask me, hey, what's she talking about? Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. So when I recommend if you ever come to Japan and stay, be at least conversational in Japanese. If not, your life is gonna be horrible.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean when I go there on holidays, because I mean I used to study Japanese a long time ago, right? So
Mm.
normally before I go there for holiday, I'll go and like refresh a bit, use Duolingo or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it does help
Yeah.
lah. Like as long as you can say
Yeah.
things like you want to have sit for 2 days, you say futatsu or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
help instead of standing there like
Yeah.
an idiot and then like looking at them, then they look at you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would
Or you
say
can,
that if you go there as a traveler, most
yeah.
places are quite friendly, right? Like
Yeah.
they do have English menu for the more touristy places lah.
Yeah lah. If you go
Yeah.
touristy places for sure, everything will be everything will have genuinely English menu.
Yeah.
And anyway, now there's Google Translate, right? So you just like point your camera at the menu, and you auto translate everything for you in English.
Yep.
Sometimes the translation is weird, but you generally get a sense of it.
Correct.
Yeah, but I think people generally, unless they're very adventurous, people generally avoid areas that are very local because you just don't know what to do,
Mm.
right? You don't know how to, like, when you enter a restaurant, should I find my own table? Should I wait for them to serve me? Should I, how should, there's this like there's a barrier to entry lah for very local places. And this doesn't just apply to Japan. It applies to other countries as well. Like if you go to Germany and you enter this like, I don't know, like this beer garden, you wouldn't know what to do also. You might avoid these places.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess in that sense, Australia is a little bit better. Like you think like any is more friendly.
They are friendly, but they can be superficial as well. The Yeah. Even though language is not a barrier, right? But then there's still,
Mm.
cultural differences, the
Yeah.
little nuances, little inside jokes, it's still there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took a while for me to adjust as well. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Do you think that a Singaporean who goes there now, do you think it's better now or worse? Easier. So not worse. Do you think it's easier or harder now than 15 years ago?
Probably slightly, I would say pre-COVID easier, post-COVID a little bit hard because this whole racism thing sort of surfaced again. But then, pre-COVID compared to, 10 years ago, pre-COVID is easier. You get what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, COVID sort of bring out the, best and worst of people. And a bit
Yeah.
hard if, you're sort of ethnically Chinese as well.
Have
Yeah.
you experienced any anti-Chinese racism?
Because of COVID?
Yep.
Or just in
No,
general?
Or just in general recently?
No.
In all
I
your
haven't.
10 over years?
Yes, but not in Melbourne.
Okay.
Always in Brisbane, which is why I hate that place. Yeah.
Is it
Queensland
because
is
Melbourne is
Melbourne's very
more?
cosmopolitan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
staying
It's
in Shanghai and Beijing. Different.
yeah, correct. Whereas Brisbane is still, they call it redneck capital of Australia lah. I mean, the name,
Is it
or rather,
really Brisbane?
yes, really. Well, Queensland as a state, yeah, which is where Brisbane
Yeah.
is at. Gold Coast is more touristy, so probably less, but I still feel it like this is like underlying, tension.
Yeah.
They don't articulate it as much. They're more tolerant because they're reliant on tourism. They're realistic, but they're just tolerant, they're not accepting. Yeah.
I just want your money, guys.
The last
Yeah.
place that I went to in Australia was actually Gold Coast lah. Just
Mm.
before, I think, slightly before COVID. I can't remember exactly which year. I think overall it was a pretty good experience lah. I didn't feel like any racism directed towards me. I don't know. Maybe I was on the lookout. Yeah.
Mm.
But like maybe what you say is true because it's a touristy place, so they see more of non-locals.
Yeah.
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 How about you, Ian?
Mm.
I think you mentioned just now that you don't
Yeah.
speak Japanese. They tend to be less
So
welcoming today.
the thing is that you don't really know what you're missing out also, right? Like so some people like immediately so in Japan, right? Let's say when you go to there's a bank, there's a post bank. So in Japan the postal service also operates a bank. And I guess in many banks as well, if you don't speak Japanese, right, they won't even entertain your application.
Wow.
So like you go in and you like say like, oh, I am this person from this country. They just immediately say we don't process your application straight away.
We don't serve
But if
foreigners
I
here.
go in,
We don't serve your type
I go
here.
in, if I'm a foreigner and I go in with even someone who speaks Japanese, might not necessarily be Japanese, straight away, right, that she just passed me the application form and she asked me to sign up. That's literally what happened. Yeah. So it's a bit, so I guess sometimes I also don't know what I'm missing just because I don't speak Japanese that well,
Mhm.
right? Like what the kind of things I'm cut off from just because of the language barrier. Yeah. So, but I think in terms of that might be, but I don't think there's, maybe because I look Japanese, like I'm Asian, right? So outrightly, like in Australia, it's different because it's so
Mm.
obvious whether you're Chinese
Yes, correct.
or
Like you
Asian
stand
or
out.
Caucasian,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it depends on the type of, the more inland you are, the less cosmopolitan generally, right? So
Yep.
I can also understand why. I mean, to be fair, and to be totally fair to Australians, Singaporeans are super racist as well.
I mean,
Oh my
yeah,
God, yes, 100%.
we are
Singaporeans are the most racist people. Yeah, I
racist against
agree.
our own race.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, Singaporeans are
absolutely.
racist. In fact, I think we're worse, right? Like you said, can be one of the more racist people
Yes,
on the planet
yes.
because we're entitled. So when you're entitled, everything is worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, should I
So
just
I
say
don't think Japanese people are racist.
we were in Australia in 2016, 2017, so pretty long time ago.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, hopefully
yeah.
we'll be heading down soon.
Yeah, you have a higher chance of going to Australia than
Yeah,
coming to Japan
so
after today's incident.
yeah, in terms of like traveling, I mean, of course, we want to go to Japan. That's like our number one uh vacation spot post COVID, like our first place that we want to go. But
Right.
I don't think we're gonna have a chance there. Yeah, because we
I,
want to go
I,
somewhere. We want to go somewhere before Meredith turns 2. Yeah, because what happens
Yeah.
is once she
the
turns 2,
the borders are still not open, right?
the borders are open in Japan, but only to tour groups, and we don't want to go on a tour group lah.
Who
Yeah.
goes on a tour group in Japan?
Cause once Meredith turns 2 in late, like end September, she will take out a whole seat. Like we have to buy
You have to
a full
pay.
seat.
Oh my
You have
Yeah,
to
God.
can you imagine
pay.
paying a full seat for a 2-year-old who's not gonna sit in the seat anyway? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we travel before that, it's like I think the last time, so I went to Taiwan just before COVID hit with my godson, and he was like 1.5 years old. If I'm not wrong, they paid like $50. Yeah, how much do you pay?
Yeah,
Ian?
that's about right. Yeah, about there, $30 to
Yeah.
$40.
So yeah, we would like to go somewhere. And I think our second choice now is Australia lah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Very
I
different
mean,
though.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Sherilyn went to Melbourne just before COVID hit. Then she said that she wants to bring me there because I'm not sure if I've ever been there to Melbourne. Even if I have, it would be a long time ago. Yeah. So
Mm.
yeah lah. I guess if we do decide to go there, we'll ask you for tips on what to do, where to go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have two choices here now. If you go to Japan, you ask me. If you want to go Australia, you guys
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. For sure.
My
Yeah.
friend, my neighbor here in my apartment upstairs, he is Australian and he's married to a Japanese wife.
Oh.
They're trying to make a trip back, obviously, to her hometown. I don't know where, lah. Yeah,
Oh,
and it's very hard. So they've been trying to
yeah,
apply for the past couple of months. He had
yeah.
to do a paper application. Goes back to what you're saying, right? You know how backwards things are.
Sounds about
Paper
right.
application, for like some
Yeah.
special spousal travel visa
Yes.
thing,
Yep.
And I can't just understand how difficult it is, I mean, when the rest of the world is already opening up or opened up already,
Yeah.
and yet, things are still so difficult for Japan and for their own Japanese, she's a citizen,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's the
that's crazy
spouse of a
because
citizen.
I think if she
Yeah,
wanted to go back alone, there would be no problems, right?
You can. Yeah.
correct.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
So yeah,
Crazy.
so
Yeah. But I,
he basically the
yeah.
in-laws, so her parents had to mail this special form from Japan to Australia because needed to be the
For him to fill
original
out.
form for him to
Yeah.
fill
My
out,
Yeah.
and
goodness.
then mail it back there, and then
Yep.
do the actual like in-person
Yep.
submission.
Sounds
Yeah,
about
I
right.
don't know. Yep,
That sounds
so
exactly
amazing.
like what happened to me. That sounds exactly. Yeah, and then the worst thing is that if there's any error in that stupid form,
You
so
redo
if
the whole
Oh
thing.
emails to you, yeah, they need
no!
to redo the whole process again.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
But I can understand now that I'm here how the general population feels. Okay, I guess in the bigger cities it might feel different. Like if you're more cosmopolitan, if you're more connected to the world, the younger people might say like, yeah, we should open up. We should. They also want to go overseas because to be fair to people wanting to come in Japan as well, it's not easy for Japanese people to also leave the country because the restrictions on them coming back as well is tight as well. So it's not easy for them. They need to do a lot of paperwork as well if they want to leave and come back without restrictions.
Yep.
Um, but I think the thing about Japan is that now that I'm here, it's very self-sustainable. Yeah, like they can live and by their own. Yeah, they're not reliant on other countries, especially in, at least from what I can see, lah. Maybe in things I don't see, like energy or stuff like that, they need other countries. But that doesn't change because of Corona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the flow of goods and services don't change because of Corona.
Yeah, because a lot
Cargo
of stuff
doesn't.
is like locally sourced, right?
Yes, correct. So to a lot of Japanese people, they might just be like, we don't need these gaijin. Maybe the past 2 years have been heaven without these guy.
Yeah, except the touristy places lah, they're obviously suffering, right?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of the touristy places that you might know may not be there anymore.
Maybe closed down already, right?
Or they may have like rebranded to cater to local people instead, because they have only had local tourism for the past 2.5 years.
You know, I really miss, besides the food lah, of course, I miss all the UFO buildings. The what do you call that?
Catching,
Yeah,
the claw machine.
machines. Yeah.
Oh my god, I went to one yesterday. So I don't usually use claw. Jimmy, have you used claw machines before?
Yes, I know what claw machines are. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, it's not very common. Like, okay, I guess in Australia, if there's a claw machine, it's like one claw machine, like stand alone.
No,
Right.
we have like shops in like Chinatown where it's like decked out in like claw machines.
Chinatown.
Oh, so it's kind of like
Okay.
Japan. Like
Cool.
there's like 10s and 20s of like these claw machines.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of like Japan, I guess. Because Singapore has a few, but it's very few lah.
There's very
Right.
few like there's
And it's
really few.
normally
I
a
probably
scam.
see like
Singapore normally
2 or
scam one.
3 or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So in Japan here, there is like Mary and I, we were walking to get dessert after dinner, and there was this UFO. There's this popular place called Taito Station, right, which is like a UFO chain lah, basically. You have crane game.
Taito
So we
Station.
bought a crate. There's a crate store next to it, which didn't sell great crepes, but anyway, we just wanted dessert. So we bought crepes, and they actually give you like 3 coupons that you could use the
like
gacha
partnership
for.
lah.
Yeah, it's like you buy a meal, like buy your crepes, and then they give you like 3, which is basically worth 300 yen. Yeah. So it's quite worth it. So we tried that, and obviously we failed because there is a technique to gacha, to these claw machines.
Yes, there is. Which I
Yeah,
have.
like you have to like slowly tilt it towards you have to like let it fall in, it doesn't pick up and go in.
Yep. Which I've trained really hard in all the times that I've been there. Jimmy, do you know I'm a claw machine expert? Self-proclaimed.
No, I don't.
Self-proclaimed.
If you go to my IG and you look at my IG stories where I save like my Japan stuff, right? You can see like okay, I think the last trip that I was there, we were there for like 2 weeks. I think I catch like 10-ish stuff. Yeah. So it's like,
Why?
if I want to get something, most of the time I will get it. Yeah. Because okay, let me tell you this story of, have I not told you this story before of how I got into claw machines?
I don't think I've heard it.
Okay, so when the first time when I went to Japan, I wasn't really into it. We just tried, and then we caught like 1 or 2, and then we're like, okay, that's it. So my cousin was getting married, and then we did a bachelor's trip for him to Japan. So just me and him and another guy, and then we walked into one of these like multi-story type of building with like bunch of claw machines, right? And we were watching this guy, this Japanese guy. He had like 2 big plastic bags, like the size of like probably what Ian said, the recycle bags, full of toys. Yeah,
the Michael Jordan of
So we're like, what the hell, man? So we just watched him lah, and then he literally like can get stuff in like a couple of tries. Normally, you spend like, I don't know, $20 and you still can't get anything, right? So I was like, okay, I watched him, and then I tried to emulate him. So I went to the machine next to him, and then I tried to copy him, but I couldn't get it. So I asked the guy, and it was like a super huge Pikachu. It's like the size of like your body, that kind.
Half your body, your
Very
torso,
big,
like whole
it's like
torso.
literally like this big, maybe even bigger. I'll show you and bring it later. Yeah. So I tried, and I couldn't get it. So I asked him like, can you teach me lah? In my, I mean, I use English. I think he understand what I said. So he asked me for like, it was like 100 yen. So I gave him 100 yen, and then he went,
ran off.
demonstration. He literally said, demonstration. Okay, he put the coin in,
demonstration.
and he got it in 1 try. He literally got it in that 1 try,
Wow.
and then he just walked away. So
But he gave you the door, right? He didn't take
He
it,
didn't
right?
even bother to like pick it up. He just walked away after that.
Or this is like the
It's
you
like
know
mic drop.
the
And then he turn
explosion.
back.
The,
Yeah.
no, it's the car
Yeah, the
explosion.
explosion. Then
Then
you
you
don't look
turn
back,
around.
right? You just walk off. So after that, right, I was like, wow, on fire already. So every time I go to Japan,
It
right,
was fine.
I would train. I would literally go and train.
I'm
And then,
watching you catch Gengar.
yeah. So I mean, there are certain machines that have an easier time, much easier time,
For sure.
as long as you know what to do. And then there are some that are totally based on luck because so the claw, you should never try to use the claw to catch something. The claw is only used
Yeah.
to push things towards like the
Yeah.
edge. Yeah. Yeah.
To
And then there are
angle it, like
some
keep
correct.
pulling.
So there are some that after a certain number of coins, it will
Yeah.
tighten. Like the claw will be tight for that one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
So
scam.
those are the more scammy ones lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Mm.
ever
But you,
go to Japan, you can try.
yeah, but the thing is that I don't know for Jamie, but for me, I'm not like a stuffed toy person.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, I'm
Jamie,
not really also.
yeah. So like these things don't like if
So
anything, if I win a stuffed toy, it's just for Rebecca, like my daughter. That's all I'll get it for.
so most of the stuff that
Yeah,
you
I'll
see that I
probably
bring,
have
right?
one.
I bring back to Singapore,
Yeah.
then I sell on Carousel.
It's for money.
Yeah.
So this Gengar that you chased all the way from Tokyo to Osaka, you sold it?
No, this one is still in my house, I think. Yeah.
I think.
Probably destroyed by Meredith already lah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean you chased from Tokyo to Osaka?
See, I tried to
You
get it
found
in Tokyo
another
and couldn't get
Astra.
it. Then eventually I think I
You went
got
to
it in
Osaka and tried.
Osaka. Yeah. Yep.
This is not the Harukoma trip, right?
Yes, I think it was the Harukuma trip.
Oh.
I think
If
so.
I say this Harukoma to Marianne, she'll be triggered. She'll say, I want to go to Osaka now.
Not that far away, right?
No, it's quite far. Like
Quite far.
it's not that. I mean, obviously, relative to you, it's not that far, obviously. But I mean, it's not that near either. Like if I take Shinkansen, it'll cost a lot. It'll cost like $400 to
Yep.
travel there.
Yep.
It's not cheap either. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the next topic, I just want to end off by asking you guys. Maybe it's a bit sad, but what do you all miss the most about Singapore? Maybe
Food.
I was gonna say
So
yeah,
far.
okay, sure, Jamie. Food lah. Okay lah. I think that's the
Food.
most. That's the most. I would say one of the most common answers, right?
Is it because like? But actually, is it just because Melbourne actually among Australian cities actually has probably the best food, right?
Yes, but different selection. You know what I mean, as compared to
Yeah.
Singapore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, for sure. Like yeah. So what is it that you like? Is there any specific thing that you think about? Like, oh, I wish I had this now.
Just a hawker center food lah. Just anything, to be honest. Doesn't even need to be like super famous kind. Just like I like hawker center. You know, like going there and then deciding from all the options presented to you. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you not been back?
COVID 2019.
So 3 years lah. But Singapore open already, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess you can come back soon to have whatever you want to eat.
I need to renew my passport first, so it expires next month.
It's probably much easier than it is to do it there than to do it here now. Now apparently though it is
Long queue.
now the queue is somebody
Singapore,
did
long
right.
queue.
They said in the TikTok right of like how long they take to get their stupid passport. Like not only the process of waiting for your passport, but the process of like going to ICA and getting your
I mean, you can do
passport
it
is like
online now lah.
our ordeal.
Yeah, I'll just do it
Yeah.
online lor. Yeah, and then I'll just wait lah. There's no rush.
So
Yeah.
Sherilyn like had to renew her passport because we're going on a cruise in July, and then her passport expired like last year, and then she didn't bother to renew lah because we were definitely not going anywhere. Then I think it says like 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. Yeah, so pretty long. Yep.
But she hasn't collected yet, right?
No, we're still waiting.
Yeah. And then
So she
but
doesn't
the
get a
good thing now is
passport
your
by the
passport
time
lasts-
we need to go
then
on a
you
cruise.
go you just
Then
go with Meredith.
bye. She can stay at home lah.
You just leave Meredith with her. Bye. Yeah. But I think now the good thing is your passport lasts 10 years, right? When you renew it. No longer the stupid 5-year thing, which is ridiculous lah. But anyway.
How about you?
I don't
Yeah.
miss food yet. Yeah, because firstly,
Yeah, I'm pretty
I'm
sure you
only
don't
here
miss
for a
food
month.
yet. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Japan.
I don't miss food. I've only been here for a month, and also secondly, Japanese food is good. But it's like Jamie said, it's different. Like Singaporean
Mm.
local food hits differently. Like you can't have your chak. Like, I kind of miss already the, the chom chom experience, the kind where you go to like your
Mm.
supper place where you order
Yes.
your stingray, your char kway teow. You order like your whole array of food, and everybody just
Yes.
shares, and it's
You
so
cannot
cheap.
forget the
Like everybody pays
sugar
like
cane
Oh
juice.
yes, with a bit of
yeah,
lemon.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think like I can imagine missing that eventually, or like going for your morning prata that you can't find anywhere else. Um,
Yes.
what do I miss most? I think friends and family lah. That's because it's different. Because I think Jamie's been there for 15 years, so I would say,
Mm.
correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. Most of your friends and family is where you are now. The people that you are
Friends,
close
yes.
to,
Family, no.
yeah, friends lah. Yeah,
Mm.
people that you want to spend your life with is around you, except family lah, which you can't control.
Yeah lah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, like, I have a solid network here that I feel,
mm,
like very well adjusted. Roots are laid down. Yes, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So for me, I mean, I just moved here, so I miss family, and I think family is the most important to me lah. Like I would sometimes, but okay, sometimes I'll call them, but it's not the same.
Yep,
Um,
for sure.
although I am looking forward to them coming over eventually. So like Jimmy doesn't know this, but like in my house, even though it's so small, 76 square meters, we basically leave a whole room empty as a guest room for people to
In
visit
preparation for
us.
people to come, lah, right?
We appreciate for people to come because I mean, obviously it's not just family, but we anticipate that there will be not just local people who will stay with us. Like we might have people coming over, our team members
Yep.
in my work will come and stay with us, but also eventually when the borders open, yeah, people will come and visit us. Yeah, so I think friends and family love. Yeah, I know my
Okay,
mom definitely misses Rebecca a lot.
for sure.
Every day she,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can't imagine, man. Like not being able to see your grandkid, or even my own, your own kid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Let's move on to
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let's go to something more entertaining. I mean, not that this was entertaining, but specific about entertainment. Um, so let's not talk about Star Wars first. We can talk about that later. But maybe this usual segment that we usually do, which is like, what have you been watching or playing? It's different for me because I haven't been doing much of that. But maybe you guys can start. Maybe Jamie, it's funny because I think you consume different content from us. Generally, Marv and I consume
Similar
very
content.
similar
Yeah.
content, and the people that we interact with generally consume. It's like, what have you been watching or playing recently, like in the past month or so?
So I just watched two movies, which is very rare because I'm not a movie person, right?
Oh,
So
I know. One of them is Doctor Strange, right?
yes, one is Doctor Strange, which was
And
like
Top
very
Gun.
strange. So, I haven't watched Top Gun, but yesterday I finally it's not a news, because it's like the end of its showing, but I finally watched the Dumbledore Secrets of
Oh,
Dumbledore movie.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the two latest things that I watched.
and what is your verdict?
Doctor Strange was strange. I did not
Doctor Strange.
enjoy it as much as I thought I would, right? Because
Yeah.
generally I do enjoy, Marvel movies and I quite like, Benedict Cumberbatch. I like Doctor Strange, I like the characters in it. But the directing, yeah, it was bizarre to me. It felt like and I know this is okay, not know. I mean, you guys have educated me that this is a signature um style of the director, but
Yep. Sam
yeah lah,
Raimi.
the directing was very bizarre lor. Yeah, it was just like a mishmash of different styles
Mm,
together. It felt a little bit forced. But I
mm.
understand how, it can be unexpected and, quite whimsical and quite fun, but just didn't flow well for me.
Mm-hmm. Do you watch Moon
Did
Knight?
you
Story
enjoy
plot.
the what?
Sorry.
Moonlight. No, I haven't.
Okay, I think you
Yeah.
should watch Moon Knight. You might probably enjoy a bit more than Doctor
Yeah.
Strange.
Moon Knight is way more. It's more straightforward. It's directed in
Okay.
the plot is more straightforward, and it's more. Moon Knight is a character-driven show. I don't know. I didn't watch Doctor Strange yet, so. But
Mm.
if from what I've heard, it's a lot of plot points and like if you're a Marvel person, you understand all these plot points that are weaved in. But from what I heard, it's not that character driven.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong.
It's not great there. It wasn't great. It's like I was gonna say the plot is a bit like very subpar, Yeah.
I mean, if you watch WandaVision, you would.
Mm.
It's nothing. It won't be a new thing to you, lah. Yeah, because it's very similar, like I mentioned, right? So, yeah. I mean, if you have time, go catch it, Ian.
I mean, I don't even know where my movie theater is in Sendai. I don't need to Google it. Where is my movie theater? How much does it cost?
Or you can wait
Is it in
for it to
Japanese?
come on Disney Plus and then.
Yeah, lor, that's
Yeah.
my next thing, lor. Like, yeah. But the funny thing is that what I realized is that any anime that is on Disney Plus here
Yep.
is purely in Japanese. There's no English subtitles.
Really? Why?
Forced Japanese learning. Yeah, because they
because
recognize.
your location
unless
is
you-
now in Japan,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
I see. Do you have a VPN? VPN back to Singapore, lah.
I love VPN better, but it's okay, like forced learning. This is forced training, forced Japanese learning. Yeah.
Yeah, the immersion will
How
help,
was
lah.
how was Dumbledore's what is it called?
Secrets of
Presentation.
Dumbledore.
Secrets
I
of
like
Dumbledore.
it. Did you watch it?
Oh really?
I did. I watched it in Gold
Did you
Class.
like it? Did you watch it? I mean, oh, very funny. Okay, I watched Doctor Strange in Gold Class. Okay, anyway,
You should watch
so
Dumbledore
sad,
in
right?
Gold
So
Class.
sad, right? I should have watched Dumbledore in Gold Class. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it in Gold Class
Yeah.
because Sherilyn is a Harry Potter fan. Or so she claims, but when I ask her Harry Potter questions, she doesn't know.
She's a Harry Potter movie fan, right? Not a book fan, right?
No, she's a book fan also. I think it's just that I
Oh.
know more minutia than her, lah. But anyway,
Yeah.
we enjoyed it, but I would say that our biggest criticism of the movie is that everything that happened in the movie is kind of inconsequential to like whatever happened, because
Mm.
the movie ends with them being back at square one, like how they were before the movie started, with the only exception that his unbreakable vow thing was destroyed, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so we felt like it was a very long, 2 hours plus just to resolve that one issue. Yeah.
That's true.
Mm.
That's true. It was a good, I guess, standalone action movie in that sense.
Yep.
Which is very unlike a typical Harry Potter movie where it's sort of, supposed to serve a greater plot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I agree with you there. Yeah.
But I do enjoy like Jude Law's portrayal of
Yes,
Dumbledore
me
lah.
too.
Yeah.
Me
Are you
too.
a
I think
Are you
he
a
does
Jude
a
Law
good job.
fan? Is that why?
No, it's not. I mean, I do think he's cute, but I'm not an exceptional, biasness towards him. But I think he does a good job. Yeah.
They gave him the nickname of Dumbo Law,
Dumbledore.
like media.
Walao.
Yeah. Anyway, sidetrack, but Jude Law is gonna be in the next Star Wars movie that's in production now.
Oh,
Oh my
is it?
god.
Yes, I think it's called Skeleton
Wait, which one?
Crew or something like that.
Oh, the Skeleton Crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a live action, is it?
Yes, I think so. But we don't know anything about it lah. There are no details yet. But anyway, so back to
Sounds
Harry
like-
Potter.
Right.
Ian, you watched
okay.
the first two, right? The first two Fantastic Beasts. Did you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
so like Credence is a Dumbledore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I did not like about the show is that. Oh shit. Okay, so there are spoilers here lah. Are you gonna? Do you mind?
It does not matter. I after the second second movie, I kind of like lost my interest in the plot.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so spoiler alert to anybody who's listening in, but Credence is Dumbledore's brother, Aberforth's son.
Yeah.
So that's why he is a Dumbledore. Yep. And
Oh yeah.
his story ends in this movie. Like he dies.
Yeah.
Or it's implied that he dies.
He's dying, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
implied.
It's
yeah.
implied that he will no longer be, a part of the show.
But if he never show him actually die, then they kind of leave the door open. Kind of.
Yeah. But so we just talk about like stuff that's outside of the movie lah. So
That was a
Ezra-
casting issue, right?
yes, Ezra Miller is in a bit of hot soup lah. Kind of like a mini Johnny Depp situation now. So he's been accused of being like very abusive and stuff. So I have a feeling WB just wanted to end the relationship with him. Yeah. So that's why he was kind of like written off to die. Yeah. Which I feel was like you know, like the whole build up of the first two movies was about him, was like centered around him.
Mm,
He was a major plot point.
mm.
And this movie,
Yeah.
his character is just sidelined,
Yeah.
and then eventually, like they're like, okay, he's just gonna die. Like he's too weak, he won't survive anymore. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like we were
But
so
I feel that
invested.
that was the issue with the whole three movies. It felt like the three movies never, like, it didn't feel like it was connected in a very meaningful way. Like, the whole story is about, started with Fantastic Beasts, so it started following Eddie Redmayne's character, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
that,
Newt
to me, I
Scamander.
love the first movie because it captured the essence of him and what his
Yes.
love for
He is a great
Fantastic
Newt
Beasts.
Scamander, man.
Yeah,
Yes, he's perfect.
so I really enjoyed that, and I would have loved to see more of that. But then they obviously like veneer into this whole Dumbledore
Yeah,
Grindelwald
Grindelwald
war,
thing. Yeah.
which I to be fair, I am interested in it, but I feel like it deserves its own arc. Like, I think they could have done their own movies on this arc and just kind of like kept Eddie Redmayne's
Instead of
character, Newt
trying to like
Scamander's arc.
shoehorn the war
Yeah,
into Fantastic
it,
Beasts, right?
correct. Because
Yeah.
then it basically moves Eddie Redmayne's character, Newt Scamander, into a secondary role.
Correct.
I mean, they might give him some prime. They might give him, obviously, they give him some stuff to do, but he makes him inconsequential
I
in a
agree
way.
with you
Like,
totally.
it's just about Dumbledore and Grindelwald, because
Yeah.
that they are the most powerful wizards. This is about them. It's like the Skywalker issue, right? In Star Wars,
Yes.
once a Skywalker is on screen,
Yep.
everybody is inconsequential.
Yep.
Hey, hello, doggy.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, the third movie was a bit disappointing in that sense. Agree.
Yeah. But I would say overall, I did enjoy it lah. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
lah.
I am looking forward to see how they progress to the fourth and fifth movie. Because it's supposed to be 5 total, right? Yeah.
Supposed
Yeah.
to be, but they're saying it's dependent on the third movie's,
Why?
ratings.
No lah,
Why?
they'll go ahead lah. They got money lah. I'm pretty sure they'll do it.
Hopefully,
No, they'll
fingers
definitely do
crossed.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
this generates so
It's
much
a
money
cash cow,
for
man.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything Harry Potter, people will lap up just because that's the only movie that there's no. I actually feel like Harry Potter is one of those things. It's kind of like Marvel and Star Wars, where it would benefit greatly from TV series.
Yes,
Like, I
agree.
feel like with Star Wars and Marvel, what Disney has done with like elevating it with more TV series, like giving people different tastes of the universe.
Yep.
Especially with Star Wars, I like. I think they could benefit from it because there's so much lore that
Yes.
they could do
You can
with
tell
Harry
so much
Potter.
better stories through TV medium. Of course, it has to be done right lah.
Yeah.
Don't do a
Mm.
Game of Thrones.
Who owns Harry Potter again?
WB
Warner?
lah.
Is it Warner?
WB, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
GG. Wait for Disney to buy over Harry Potter. They can reboot. Who's Harry Potter? He's Legends. He's not canon anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So those two movies. How about shows? Have you been playing any games or anything?
Shows.
Uh,
Have you been watching anything, Jamie?
I just started Stranger
Hey,
Things, the
yes.
latest
I just want to talk about it.
season.
Yeah.
No, I'm like episode 3 or something.
Same. I think I'm on
It,
episode 2.
it's not great, leh.
I know Sherilyn doesn't like the new villain.
It's not great, leh.
Yeah.
Like very boring, leh. The pace of everything, like I'm not enjoying it. But I don't know, do I need to grow into it or what?
One thing I will say, I mean, this is superficial, but man, they all look so old already. They don't look like kids anymore. Because they're taking
Yeah.
so long to make.
Maybe the charm is gone.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, okay, Millie Bobby Brown, 11.
Mm.
My goodness, she's so old. Yeah.
Oh.
And
Like 18 now, right?
I think so. And then you know that
How
girl,
old were they initially?
I
18.
think when they started, they were like,
12?
yeah, very young. Like
Yeah,
6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago.
6 years young.
Yeah. That girl, I can't remember what's her name. Nancy, right? The one that's in charge of the newspaper.
Mm.
You know when they zoomed in on her face in, I think, episode 2, you can see like all the wrinkles, but then she's supposed to be like just graduated from high school, like waiting to go to college. Then I'm like, this suspension of disbelief needs to be really, really suspended. But yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we can talk more about it once we finish the entire season. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The reviews all said it was very good, so like I was like sort of looking forward to it. But then like don't know, initial feels a bit disappointing.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, can revisit it
Just give
in a
it some
few
time, I
weeks.
guess. Maybe it might.
Yeah,
It might. But to me, right? How many episodes are there? 8.
7 or something like
Generally,
that.
it's like
Yeah.
8 to 10
something
or
like that.
something.
Yeah.
If it doesn't capture me in the first 3-4 episodes, right? I'm not inclined to finish a series because
But
like it should at least give me a sense of like, okay, I can tell something is coming that might hook me in. But if there's no build up to that, then I generally don't even like want to watch
the
it.
thing is that I even if I don't enjoy the first couple episodes,
You will force
I
yourself to
will
watch
sit
it.
through because I've already watched like the first 3 seasons, right? So
Yeah, I was
Sunk
gonna
Yeah.
say it's not
fallacy.
fresh. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that it's not bad. It's just a bit different. Yeah.
It's
Is it
slow
strange?
also.
Is it
And a bit
strange?
disjointed. No, a bit disjointed also because like for the first time they're not together.
Yeah, they're all over the country. So
They're all over, like they're all like split
Oh,
up. Yeah, so it's I don't know, the vibe is very different. Yeah.
maybe the hook of the story is when they all come back together. Maybe that's where
I mean,
that's where they're
I'm sure they
banking on.
will. I'm sure they
I
will.
think it's a bit predictable, right? They will definitely come back up.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I haven't even watched season 3 yet, so there you go.
Season 3 was nice.
You got
But
stuff
I
to
didn't.
watch.
Yeah.
I just Stranger Things like season 1 was good. Season 2 was like not great for me. I didn't enjoy it. So to me, I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it with Marianne again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's coming back as well? Umbrella Academy, when does it come out?
I don't know.
It's this year, right?
I haven't
Yeah.
watched season 2, so I don't know.
Oh, maybe it's next year. Oh no, you're
So
right.
next
It's coming out on June 22nd. It's
Yeah,
this
I
month.
remember it's really
This coming
soon.
month.
Yeah, that is one
Yeah,
I
that month.
actually really look forward to.
Mhm.
Oh, Marianne loves it,
Yeah.
so she'll look forward to that. Yeah. Mark, have you been
Exciting.
watching? Have you? Okay. No, we have to talk about. Okay, so I will just briefly talk about Moon Knight because I won't give any spoilers. But Moon Knight finished like what 3 weeks ago, a
Yeah.
month ago.
Around there. Few weeks ago lah.
Yeah, a few weeks ago. And out of the how many is there? 5 Marvel TV series now. There's
There's Hawkeye, there's
one
Captain America,
Wanda, Loki,
Wanda,
Hawkeye,
Loki for so this is the 5th one, right? Moon Knight.
5th one. This is my favorite TV series.
Yeah.
Out of the 5. Yeah. It has the most. I think the story is simple to understand. It's actually quite predictable, in my opinion. Like you can kind of see where it's going to go, but the way that it gets there is interesting enough. Oscar Isaac is a very good
He's
actor.
a great actor.
He's very good, and I think it deals with some mental issues. Because obviously, it's not a spoiler, but Moon Knight, he is what's the word? Bipolar? Is that the
No,
word for it?
he has DID, dissociative identity
Oh,
disorder.
yeah, he has this identity.
Oh.
So it used to
And
be
the way, yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I mean it used to be called something else, right? What's it
mm,
called? Multiple personality disorder. Yeah,
mm,
but it's been renamed to DID lah. Yeah.
mm, yeah. But I think it is the way they do it, like especially the first episode. I think the first episode, the way that they film and do it cinematography of how they depict the different these personalities is very
Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
And I think it's worth watching and then after I think later on episode 4, episode 5. There's only 6 episodes, so it's very short.
Yep.
But I think the way that they suddenly go quite dark around like episode 4, episode 5, when they delve deep into the cause and the root of these disorders, I was like, wow, this is not a place I expected Disney Marvel to go. But they went there. Yeah.
I think you gotta give credit to how Oscar Isaac like portrays somebody with multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Because for Jamie, you haven't watched it, right?
No.
So I mean,
But go ahead. I don't mind.
I was pointing for you, but like I'll just say that one personality is like British and very timid, and then another
Yeah.
personality is like he's American and he's like very confident.
Opposite
So
lah. The opposite.
the way that Oscar Isaac just switches like seamlessly between the two identities,
Yeah,
right? I think
yeah,
you'll be like, wow, this guy is a great actor. I already knew he was a great actor, but I think this one really cements him as one of my like favorite actors. Yeah,
yeah. It's good. Yeah.
it's really good.
So yeah, don't let the. Although some people were saying that the British accent throws them off. Like if you're British, you'll be like, oh, this doesn't sound like a British accent. But yeah, don't let it throw. So okay, so that's for Moon Knight. Um, Marv, you want to talk about Kenobi?
Okay, yeah, let's do a quick.
Ooh,
So, Jamie, you know who Kenobi is?
does he know?
You know
Can
who
you
Obi-Wan?
not like yeah, Obi-Wan, yes, like
Obi-Wan. So
yes,
Obi-Wan
but
Kenobi. Yeah. So
uh-huh.
he was he was in the first Star Wars movie ever. But he
Yeah,
died. Spoiler alert, he got killed by Darth Vader. In the very first Star Wars movie. So that was like 1980 something. I can't remember
yeah,
now.
84,
Yeah.
84, I think.
So eventually they did the prequels, which is episode 1, 2, and 3, where they did like, what happened before Darth Vader became Darth Vader, right? So when he was Anakin Skywalker, spoilers again, if you don't know that. And Obi-Wan was his mentor, his master lah, his trainer. So after the first three movies, which was like 20 years ago, I think episode 1, so Star Wars came out 4, 5, 6 first, then 1, 2, 3, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So episode 1 I think was like 1999. Yeah. And then when episode 3 ended, like fans kind of like really loved Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan lah. And they've been clamoring for like an actual movie,
About him.
or yeah, led by him. But George Lucas never wanted to do anything after
Episode 3.
doing the prequels because they didn't do very well like critically, and then it bombed lah. But yeah, so when Disney bought over, then there were like rumors that this is gonna happen, and yeah lah, so it finally happened, and then they did a TV series. So this is supposedly like a limited run also. Yeah,
Mm.
and the first two episodes were out, I think last week, right, Ian?
Last Friday.
Yep. And I know Ian has said that it has reignited his love for Star Wars, so that's huge, like huge praise. Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
share, Ian?
No, I mean, I won't go too much into detail, but like, I think Star Wars, I mean, we all know that how much Marv and I love Star Wars, but it's just in a very, it captures the essence of Star Wars. Like, because in the sequels, the three sequels that we have in episode 7, 8, 9, they kind of like I felt like in terms of his identity, it deviated a little bit from what I enjoyed from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the first 6 episodes. And this kind of like the way that cinematography is done, um, the so to me this is not just a Kenobi story. So I think I went in expecting just this to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi and his story, but it's more actually to me it's more of a continuation of episode 3. It's like in between because there's a
Yes.
time skip between episode 3 and episode 4. It's like what? How long is it? 10 years? No, longer than that. How long did it take for Luke and Leia? 18 years maybe. Because Luke and Leia are babies,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
episode 4 they are like going to be
Yes.
adults,
So this
young
is
adults.
10 years after
Yeah.
episode 3.
Yeah. So it's really just like an episode 3.5 for me
Yes.
because there's 18 years in between. There's so much stories they can tell. And I would be honest, I'm not really a Kenobi fan. Like I'm not one of those people that like after episode 3 I was like, oh, I want more Ewan McGregor. But I think the way they tell this story in terms of like following the story of the Skywalkers to me is done well because episode 7, 8, 9 they try to follow the story of Skywalkers, but then they kind of like decided to do something different halfway, and then they went off in a different direction.
Yep.
But to me, Star Wars has always, especially the mainline movies, has always been about the Skywalkers,
Yep.
and this is coming back to that form. So I'm excited to see more lah. It's what 6 episodes only, right? Anyway,
I think so.
yeah. Did Jamie, did you ever watch Mandalorian? Or you did
I
it
never
bounced you
finished
bounced off it?
it.
Yeah, you bounced off it, right? It's okay. not everybody like I can totally understand though.
Where did I stop? Did I even go? Wait, that was like the second season, right?
Yes, season 2.
Did I progress
Yes.
on to season 2? I did, right? But then I couldn't
I
finish
don't
it.
know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
you.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I just didn't
you
finish
might
it.
not have.
Like in my life, this is the first series I've not ever finished.
Oh wow.
I've
You're
always,
just.
I've always,
Yeah.
always pushed myself to finish something. Like this is the first one I've
Wow.
ever given up on.
Oh
Maybe
Yeah.
no.
Yoda not attractive enough.
Yeah, not attractive enough. He said not enough. The rest of the show too heavy. Cannot carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Mando is not one of those
Yeah.
shows that is popular appeal. I feel it appeals to most people, but I think there will be people who bounce off it for sure.
Mando
Just
is
like
like
Stranger.
a love letter to Star Wars fans, I feel. Because there's
Yeah.
so many there are so many what do you call that, deep cuts and like references and Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yeah, especially if
So
we read the books as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
Mom,
books.
have you been what? Yeah, there
yeah,
are a lot
there's
of
a
books.
bunch of Star Wars books.
A crap ton of books.
Yeah.
Shit.
So basically when Disney bought over Star Wars, right, they basically said all the books that came are no longer canon.
Yep.
So all these stories and books that we fell in love with, they like said that these are part of a different series, they are part of a different universe. They don't exist within the Star Wars
Yep. They are
canon.
no longer like official
But
stories lah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Disney has kind of learned that even though they're not canon, you doesn't mean you cannot take from it.
Yep.
Like you can still like take parts that people love, because to me it doesn't make sense. You make it a different universe altogether, but you already know what people like, correct? Because people read the books, they're like, oh, I love this character so much. So it's like a testing ground. You just pick the stuff that people like, and then you make shows about it because that's what people like. So I feel that Disney is learning a little bit about, yes, you may have like retcon all these show books and that people love, but you can still steal their ideas in a
Yep.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Hmm.
their TV shows have definitely been a success lah. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's improved.
As compared to
Hmm.
the sequels. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So I guess that's what we've been watching.
What about gaming? Jimmy, have you just been playing WoW?
Yeah, just playing WoW, really. So I
We should buy
joined
her.
a new guild, yeah,
Oh,
and basically, we raid 3 times a week. Starts at 8 o'clock Melbourne time, which is actually six
Great.
o'clock Singapore time.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really early, but it does allow me to sleep at a better, regular timing nowadays. So I finished raiding by 11. I'm in bed by like 12:01.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a lot better for me in that
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
and are your raid members Australian? Mostly?
Yeah, so this is actually I went back to my old guild, which is a Singaporean guild, but they
Mm.
since I had left till now, they actually grew their guild so much. Now they have 6 raid teams. So I happen to be in the Australia team, or rather the team that has most Australians,
Ian,
just because of the timing. We do have some Singaporeans as well that can make the timing. But yeah, lah, predominantly Aussies.
Ian, you've heard of mega churches, right?
Yeah,
So
this is a
these are
mega guild.
guilds. Yeah. Imagine
Mega guild.
6 raid teams. That's like
Yeah.
100 and
40,
like
25 or yeah, 40. Wow, it's
20
crazy.
times 6, but then you include subs, so it's like, I don't know, 150 members just reading, and
Yeah.
then there are the non-readers. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
mega guild.
Crazy.
I'm sure they have like systems in place already, right? There's like rules you have to
Yeah, I
follow
mean,
and like
these kind of guilds, right? The management and the organization is like on par with maybe like
company.
a
Company.
middle-sized company. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's insane. Yeah. Have you what tier is it now? Is it what how many free
9.2.
9.2 is what?
Are we now?
Yeah, tier 20. I don't know, something some crazy tier now.
Don't know.
and how
Yeah.
what's your proc now? 4 of 9?
Oh, it's 11 bosses, right?
11. What am I? Before 5? Thereabouts. I don't know. I lost count. Yeah.
And what is the current proc? The max or is it cleared already?
Have they cleared? Have they? Hey, has anyone done CE in the world yet? Got already, right?
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
I got.
Took about 2.5 weeks.
World first. Yeah. Yeah. World first.
Wow.
Clearly, I do.
Yeah, I was
I
following
mean,
the what do you call it? The race. And
yeah,
this raid was one of the longer ones that lasted. Yeah.
yeah.
Because it was
Good.
apparently it was really tough. Yep. I think they
Yeah.
wanted to have a good
But
ending also.
very fun eh.
Really?
This tier, I would say, yeah, this tier is really very fun.
Don't tell
Like the
me.
boss fights, the boss fights, the mechanics, like it's actually
Are
legit
you
very fun.
are you really tempted?
So a friend in one of my old
Oh
guilds
no.
has been trying to get a few of us to come back to like push
Yeah.
for cutting edge, which is like to clear the raid. Because this tier is gonna be a very, very long one. At least 6 months or more. Yeah. Because
Before
they've already said that they're not adding a new tier after this. This is the last one. And the next expansion is Dragonflight, which has been announced, right?
Yeah.
And Dragonflight is not even in open beta yet. It's not even in closed beta. I think it's in like alpha.
Alpha.
So that's at least 6 months or more. So that gives like people an estimate of the runway that's required, or rather the runway
Yeah.
that they have. You know how much more time
Clear
they
the
have.
yeah.
Yeah. So people are thinking like this is a good chance to push for cutting edge. Clear the mythic rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have a long runway.
Yep.
Did Jamie Jamie, I know you're a very experienced WoW player, but you're not a typical WoW player. You don't really like get excited over like next expansion kind of thing, right? Did you
No,
watch
I
the
don't.
Did you watch the review at all?
For the
About Dragonflight?
Dragonflight thing,
Yeah.
I did. I watched the review. Yeah,
See what Lam said
What
in
do
the
you think
chat.
about
it
the
looks stupid.
new
You
Yeah,
don't
I
really
thought the
quit
risk
WoW, just take a break. Yeah, that's true. But some people break is like 10 years on.
yeah.
The
I
Dragonflight looks stupid too. I'm not
I
excited about it at all.
I'm not very excited
Yeah.
also, but I think I will try Dragonflight.
I
Yeah,
mean
that's
you,
it.
you
I
have
will,
played
I will
every
still
WoW.
play lah. I will still play if like time and scheduling allows, but
Yeah.
it doesn't like hype me up like other people do. Cause I joined the game quite late into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like this whole
Yeah.
like dragon concept. Like people get very excited. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Marv, I
Okay.
think we need to buy her Elden Ring.
Really? I don't know, man.
No lah, I don't know
Jimmy,
that
have
she'll
you
play
have you
it.
played any Souls games before?
Any what game?
Souls games
Souls games.
like Dark
Like
Souls,
Dark
Demon
No.
Souls,
Souls. No.
Bloodborne, Sekiro.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
So Ian and I have been playing Elden Ring. You heard of it?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me 5 hours just to kill the first boss, to get past the first boss.
He got whipped
Yep.
40 times before he went back to
20
before he did a
20.
hack
Wow.
and then he really killed
Took
him.
me about 20 times. Then I went to like level
Wow.
up like crazy before I tried again. And I still died. Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess we can talk about it in depth next time, like Ian.
Yeah. Once we play a bit more lah.
Yeah.
Anything you've been playing, Marv? More other than Lost Ark.
Just Lost Ark. Okay, Lost Ark, I kind of got into the raiding thing already because they released like the first raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 2-phase boss. That means like you clear the first phase and then you can stop and rest. It's really good. Like I would say the mechanics are WoW level with the combat and movement of Diablo. Yeah.
Mm.
So kind of I would say best of two worlds lah. Isometric combat plus WoW mechanics, raid mechanics.
Mm.
Yeah, I am enjoying it. That I think what's really helpful is that you don't need a super huge group because the raids are eight men. Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's like Final Fantasy.
yeah, it does help a lot in terms of coordination and logistics lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it super grindy?
Yeah.
Just to do the usual upkeep is like endless, right? That's what I've been hearing.
I would say it's a very typical Asian MMO in terms of the upkeep. Because okay, I'll give you like I'll draw a picture for you. So we had about 15 or 16 people who started together, and then Cash's friends so there's about 20 plus of us. There is I think about 10 of us left, so about less than 50% split off. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you must do. And
Yeah.
it's, to be fair, it's not all the same thing.
Yep.
There's a lot of different things you have to do. So it doesn't seem like it's
I would
boring,
say
but
that
there's still a lot of things.
compared to Mythic raiding in WoW, the commitment level is much lower because we can complete like entire raid in less than an hour. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you don't take like months to down a boss. You don't take weeks or months to down a boss. Yeah, I mean if you have competent people, it takes like one night of learning, and then you down the boss. And then the next week
But
you can clear in like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah.
is it also because you're doing a boss that Koreans have cleared like 3 years ago?
Yes, but that doesn't make a difference because when you do in WoW, all the guides and all the add-ons are
Ah,
already
yeah, yeah,
created. Yeah. So
yeah. And
in
you
terms
still
of
can't
like
clear it, right?
progression, it's much faster, it's much shorter. And I think it's a lot more friendlier in terms of if you want to do end game stuff. Yeah, of course it's not like as I would say as a huge achievement as getting cutting edge. But clearing like hard mode in Lost Ark is still a pretty like adrenaline filled kind of experience. Like your heart gets pumping, your hand is sweaty, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's more I would say it's more it caters to a more casual type of people who still want to have an MMO aspect of reading, but they don't want to commit like mythic level commitment lah. Like wow mythic level commitment. Yeah.
But the number of hours that you put into it, it just sounds like you're spending the same amount of time as me, if not more.
Because I play a lot out, I have 6 characters.
Mm.
Yeah. And I mean you don't really have to do it. I think for me, right, the biggest thing is that I don't have to commit like as many hours reading as compared to WoW. You get what I mean? Like normally my group, right, we just do like most of the time it's just one night for like maybe an hour or two, and then we're done for the week already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's because we only rate on like one character. Yeah.
Then what do you do the rest of the week? Just casual
You
content.
level your alt,
Yeah.
you do
I
your
level my
alt.
outs, I do side content, I go collect stuff, the
Oh,
things that I like to do.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
yeah. I mean you can be super hardcore and like level like 6 characters all to like raid
And rate
level and
all
then
6.
raid all. But nah,
Sounds insane.
I don't really need to
Okay
do
lah.
that lah. Yeah.
That's like an opposite perspective, or rather, than me. Like I spend 9 hours a week reading. I'm done. I don't do side content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's different.
Very different.
The rate is
Different.
the rate is why you play.
Yeah.
Last up,
Yeah.
you don't play just for the rate.
Yeah. I
Mm,
mean there are people
Yeah.
who just want to read, but
mm,
the difference is that in Lost Ark, the side content also adds to your character power, which I think is something we've talked about before lah. So like in WoW, the side content like collecting mounts and transmogs and shit, right, doesn't add to your character's power, doesn't help you in
mm.
fighting a boss. But in Lost Ark, everything that you do like contributes to your character's power.
Pros and cons lah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean some people feel
Yeah.
that that's too much because they'll be forced to like do things that they don't
Grind.
enjoy. But the
Yeah.
other thing is the other aspects that people who do enjoy it won't just be for cosmetics. It won't just be for appearances. It will actually add to your progress. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean pros and cons. But it's a very Asian game lah. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have not been playing much, honestly, because I've been busy moving. What I bought V Rising. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes. It's so hot
Jamie,
now.
did you have it? Yeah,
No,
it's
what
a
is it?
new. Do you know Valheim? Have you heard of Valheim? It came out
Mm-hmm.
last year. It was like this survival game, right? That you can. So V Rising is kind of like a similar genre. It's a survival game, but it's a vampire survival game. So you play as like this newly born vampire, and you have to like survive in the wild. So eventually you build your own castle, and then I mean, vampires has always been a very attractive thing to many people in terms of game in
Yes.
games. So this game has different mechanics of how so you it's a survival game, which means that you need to like build your castle,
Tower defense.
build kind of you need to like feed on people so that you can survive, and then you get better armor, you build, so it's a survival game, but you can also play in a PvP or PvE server. So PvP server, other vampires can come and destroy your castle and stuff like that, or or wipe you out kind of basically. Yeah, but so I've been trying it. I obviously because of my horrible internet, I've been playing on a solo server. Um, but I think now that maybe I might try with Marv's cousin bought it also, so I might try with him or something. But I think it's a very interesting game. I heard the end game is pretty bad but then at the same time, it's also a game in early access, so it's not fully developed yet. But I think I'm not really a survival genre kind of person. I don't really play survival genre games. So, but this is quite easy because it's an isometric game. So it looks kind of like your Diablo style, Lost Ark kind of style. So it's quite accessible in that respect. And it comes with a very good tutorial, so I think anybody can play, and it's also very cheap. It's like $20 to pay for it, so it's not too bad. Yeah. So the commitment is low, and you can get like I would say easily, even if you just pretend that it's a single player game and you play it on your own, you can probably get like 30, 40 hours out of it. Yeah. So I played that for about a few hours now. Yeah. So yeah, but now that I have a new monitor, looking forward to playing and dying in Elden Ring again. Yeah. All right. I think Mark has to go off soon. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, so maybe I didn't mention it at the start of the podcast. Yeah. But the reason why you can't see my face, for those of you who are tuning in, is because my internet sucks. And I realize am I grey now? I'm grey, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
just
John
a
is
spinning two blue squares.
that's
Two
sad.
dots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's okay, bro.
Hey, am I back? Oh, I'm
Not
frozen.
on my screen though.
No,
I'm not your
no.
screen. I'm frozen on
Oh,
Discord.
you're frozen
It's not.
weirdly.
This is not a. It's not good. Yeah. So anyway, anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it a night?
Not really, but I think hopefully we'll see both of you. I'll see both of you soon. Or Jimmy, when you come back,
Yeah.
we can definitely meet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or we can go to Japan to
Yes.
visit Ian.
Hopefully later this year. I would want to meet, as in fly back to Singapore after I get my passport sorted
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Okay. I'll arrange something. You
Yeah.
meet all the guys. You can meet Lam. You ask Lam.
Yes.
Go ask Lam why you
Time is awesome.
draw straight line.
That joke
Excited.
is gonna stick with him forever, man.
Yeah. You will never go away.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's these things that make games memorable.
Yeah.
That makes you remember it.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Jamie, thanks for coming. It's as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you. And next time we'll talk about more different topics. But thank you for this is the Pikachu, is it? That you want?
Yeah.
What's around its neck? Is it is that like a luau, like the Hawaiian luau?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing that hang on.
It's so cute.
Oh,
This was
yeah,
the
like, it's very cute.
demonstration. It's huge.
Oh, this was the
Yeah.
this was the start of the
Yeah. This was the
addiction.
start of my
This is
addiction.
what got you hooked. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So thanks, Jamie. Hope to see you around soon. I probably won't see you in Singapore, but if you ever come to Japan, come and find me.
I
Yeah.
will,
If not,
hopefully soon.
yeah. If not, you can find us all on your typical social media channels. Two Gamer Dads at Facebook, Instagram, and this is episode 18 of Two Gamer Dads podcast, and we'll see you again next time. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.